Greetings YouTube. Wow, it sure has been a while since I've made a video, and that's because I really don't enjoy content creation. It feels taxing to me. I don't enjoy it, and it's not something that I don't want to go viral for any reason. So I don't do gotcha titles or any kind of clickbait thumbnails, stuff like that. It's just not my personality. It's not something I want, not something I strive for. I really just want to have a house somewhere off in the woods where I don't bother anyone, nobody bothers me. That seems like a pretty good life to me. Uh, but I am very annoyed right now, and I have some stuff to get off my chest. And I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. But I figure I owe it to my subscribers. I still have over 200 subscribers to kind of give an update about me and my life, and it kind of ties into why I'm upset right now. So I think it's been probably 8 months since I've posted a video. Like it's been a really long time. Yeah, we're in November, so it probably has been since February since I posted last. I think I did like a poll update and told people, like my dog passed away, I lost my job, and I also got divorced. So this year hasn't been that great. And that's kind of half the reason why I don't like making videos. I don't like complaining. I feel like I do a lot of it. I yeah, it bothers me. I don't know why. It's hard to explain. But so I do want to talk about the first job because to me this is funny. I'm a really good person with like taking notes and doing records and stuff for a job. I was the records person in Iraq for our unmanned aerial vehicles. Whenever we'd have an incident, crash, stuff like that, they would go through our paperwork, and if anything was wrong, I was at fault. And there was a time that I remember when we had a hard landing, winds were out of range, it was approved, everything seemed fine. It was just the landing gear was broken. I went ahead, ordered the parts, we got it replaced. I thought it was good, and then my platoon sergeant found out that he had like I think it was like $2,000 like thing on this budget thing from this landing gear that he didn't know anything about. I I was worried I was going to lose my rank and possibly my career over not reporting that. So like I got terrified about paperwork and how that's handled. And since then I've been very, very, very good at keeping paperwork for work. I don't do it in my personal life. Definitely a flaw of mine. I get it. I'm not going to change, sorry. So the first job that I got laid off in May, I told him, like it was between me and this other guy, and I was like, hey, you want to fire the other guy, keep me on. I actually help the business. I do things. I keep our paperwork. I can prove to you that I'm the better employee. But they decided to keep him. It's November, and that business already shut down. So they thought they were like possibly giving me a deal by laying me off earlier. I don't know how much they actually planned on closing. I assume that was in the works for at least a year. There were some strange things going on and everything, so I got it. But it sucked. Losing a job sucks. And I was without work for 2 months. I couldn't get on unemployment. I worked for a California company, so I thought I needed to apply for California benefits. California does it with a website online. Florida does it with a phone call. So I was like, it's worth my time to do the phone call to Florida, talk to him, tell him my situation, and see where I apply. And the gentleman on the phone told me that, every company pays unemployment insurance, and you can probably claim it in either California or Florida. And he recommended that I file it in California because there's a lot more money in California than there is in Florida for unemployment. So I did. And then about a month later, I find out that, I don't get California unemployment because I'm a Florida resident and I need to apply in the state that I'm from. I didn't know that as a remote worker, so I applied for Florida. And when I applied for Florida, it's a lot of paperwork and stuff. And I'm not good at paperwork. As I said before, I'm good at paperwork for my work, not for my individual self. Definitely a flaw of mine. This whole vlog of mine, even though it's going to be really long, it all ties together, unfortunately, for me. Hard life lesson learned. So I forgot where I was at in the story. I go and apply for unemployment in Florida, and when 2 weeks time, I wasn't getting any money, and then I asked them, what's going on? Why am I not getting paid? And I was told that I have to apply for jobs off of their website, or I have to go to an unemployment show kind of thing. Career fair, something like that, to get paid. And I guess it was in the fine print. There was so much paperwork and so much stuff that I went through. I probably missed that part of it. I'm not someone who collects unemployment. I work. That's who I am. So then I asked, if I apply for it, do I get paid for those last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it was? And he was like, no. It'll start when I start applying for jobs. So I applied for jobs off their website because it's been a long time since I was without money, and I'm broke. I can't afford to pay rent. I can't afford my vehicle. I can't afford my phone. I can't afford internet. I have no money, and yeah, it's a bad economy, right? So apply for jobs on that website, and one of those jobs that I applied for was Walmart. And I really didn't want the Walmart job, but I was desperate, and I took it. Yeah. And I'm stocking shelves at night, or I was, because of an incident that happened last week. I was working in the pet food area, and we have these big racks, and we stock freight all the way to the very back of it. As much freight as we can fit on the floor, they want to fit on the floor. If it says the shelf quantity is 12, they want to have 15 in there, just because you don't ever want to go under. That's kind of the mentality of that place. When I applied, I almost heard back immediately from HR about getting an interview and going to work, and it worked. It definitely worked my timeline. I didn't have money to basically eat. I needed a job, so I took it. And it was during the inventory, so it was kind of this weird time. I think they got the sense that I was, a little bit smarter. I've worked a few days in my life, and you could take some shortcuts. One of the shortcuts that was taken was a safety walk around the building to show me where the eye wash stations were. Simple stuff like that. I'll be roaming around the store. I'm gonna see them. No big deal, right? I wasn't showed how to put freight on the shelf. I was showed how to scan on an app, and then it gives me this code, which you can go to any Walmart and see. Like there's like A3 is going to be the aisle, and that just happens to be frozen. And then you'll have like door number 2 or shelf 2, and then product number is 15. And then you go there and you find it and you're good. I haven't worked there long enough to know what A3 to 15 would be. If I had to take a guess, it'd probably be like waffles. Like, no, actually, it'd probably be Uncrustables. But that really doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm getting to the point where you could tell that I'm getting annoyed, and I'm kind of delaying it. But I was working in pets, and while I'm working in pets, I'm stacking cat food. Behind cat food is laundry detergent. And I think earlier in that day, I found like some kind of blue goopy stuff on a bag. And I went to the bathroom, got a paper towel, wiped it off the bag, went back to, putting it underneath this rack. And I'm crawling underneath inside the rack, kind of moving this bag. And I think like the way that the bag moved, it flicked whatever like blue stuff was on that bag into my eye. And I kind of panicked. I had that piece of metal in my eye the year prior. That was really painful. It kind of like, that was really what my thought was, is, like, what is with my eyes? Like someone's out to get my eyes. So, like I go to the bathroom and I turned on the water, and I realized that the water pressure just wasn't there. And then I was like, I don't know where the eye wash station is, because I kind of missed that day of class. So I panic and start running around the store to find someone. And the first person that I find is deaf. And like, I think, I could probably, text on my phone. Maybe he'll see my eye and he'll understand. But the fact that I can't speak with him, I didn't know if I wanted to trust him. And like, he's such a great guy. I feel, knowing what I know now, I should have went to him. Hands down, I trust him more than I trust the other people in that store. And the fact that I didn't trust him, I owe him an apology. I kept going through the store, and I looked down one of the main aisles, and I'm kind of doing one of these numbers, and I see one of my coaches, and she's leaning up on a bag talking to someone, and I can't really see who that other person is, but I'm walking down, and I say that person's name out loud, and I'm like, hey, I think I need to go to an eye wash station. I don't know where the nearest one is. And the person they were talking to was one of the team leaders, and she was at a different angle, and she saw my eye, and she panicked, and she was like, Jordan, come with me. And like, she might have even grabbed me, but I remember that, she's taller than me, and she walks really fast. And it was like we were almost running to this eye wash station. And I like that was probably the best experience that I had on this night, was how serious that she took that incident. Not the coach that I don't think even looked at me. We get to the back of the warehouse where the eye wash station is, and someone comes up to her and is like, hey, I need you to do something. I don't even know what it was that they needed her to do, but it had to be her. I think it was a team leader specific type task that she had to do. And she was like, one moment I need to show him where the eye wash station is. She shows me where the eye wash station is, and she leaves to go with that person to go take care of whatever. I go to the eye wash station, and I look at it, I press the little thing, and then like the water shoots up and then goes down. And it stays like right above where the like two nozzles are. And I'm kind of like, I don't know what's going on. But then I have the thought, like they're working on the bathrooms and they shut off the water to the building. That means the eye wash station is not working. So I need to use this eye wash station, while I still have the chance. So I go down there and I rinse out my eye. The water wasn't cold. It didn't hurt. And it was almost like immediate relief. And I left it there for, I probably did it for about a minute, because I was thinking, about a minute's fine. I don't know, someone will come talk to me and tell me otherwise. And I kind of didn't know what to do, so I went back to work. I wasn't comfortable back in that area, but I went back to work. That's what I did. And then like I was thinking about it, and I was like, if this would have happened to one of my soldiers when I was in the Army, it didn't matter if I was in aviation or an AIT platoon sergeant, if I was even like a maintenance team lead, if an incident happened, I would have to ensure that soldier was taken care of and that it was reported, because that's what you do when an accident happens, is you report it. That way you get the facts straight and there's any kind of corrective training, because maybe I wasn't supposed to be in that little cubby hole to stack that cat food, and that was where I went wrong. I don't know. No one ever talked to me about it. And it's like an 8-hour shift, and this happened at the very, very beginning of my shift. So I'm just kind of stewing on it this whole time. And at midnight, I kind of had enough of it. And during my break, I went in to go talk to the other coach that's on duty that night. And I explained the situation. And I was like, I really don't like how this situation was handled, because I was ignored by the other coach, and I was left alone at the eye wash station. It wasn't working. There wasn't water pressure. This isn't right. And he took it seriously, and he talked to me about, do I have problems with the other coach? Was I trained, shown where all these places were, that sort of thing. And I told him, I recalled as much of the details that I could at the time. I was really upset, and I may have told him that I think it was dish soap or laundry detergent, because I think it was blue. I think it was the stuff that I found on the bag earlier, and we went over it, and I thought things were kind of good, and I went back to work, and I'm working and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, gosh, if this would have happened to some of the other employees, how would they have handled it as well? Like, I'm planning on going to see a doctor, because I care about my eyes, and but they didn't recommend that I go see a doctor. Is this covered? Do I get workman's comp? What? I had a lot of questions, and I thought about it over the rest of the shift, and then I get into the end of the shift, and like I still didn't hear anything, and I kind of blew up on one of the guys in the warehouse when I was throwing some boxes in, and the that coach that originally ignored me came back with, 2 shopping carts full of boxes, and then goes and leaves them, and doesn't say anything to me. And I was like, wow, this is so not cool. I ain't gonna throw away her trash. Like, I'm not, I got things to do. It's not my job. And I was like, I'm gonna quit this job. They don't care about my safety. I'm leaving. And I vented to him until the manager came back with 2 more shopping carts full of cardboard, and I left. And then, I went back to Frozen to work with someone I consider a friend, someone I talk to, and he was like, the manager A, the one that, I didn't really care about my situation. We've kind of talked about her before. I'm trying not to say the name because I don't really want to edit this video. And I am probably going to delete it in like 7 to 10 days, or when I get around like 30 views, just to kind of gives you a heads up. I don't want to do YouTube. I don't want to go viral. But like, that's manager A. There was a time when I was working in an aisle, one of my first few kind of days there. I didn't realize that we had a pallet in like a different aisle that we had to pull in to our area to unload. So I went to another section too early. And when I was walking in the back of the warehouse, I heard manager A talking about me behind my back. Like, I'm not observant. I'm, whatever it was. And they were talking to another team leader, or they were talking to a team leader, and they were probably upset with me that I left someone else to go do one of the harder aisles by themselves and went to Frozen. I kind of like blew it off, but I never had a problem with manager B. That's the person that I trusted and I really respected. And like, I'm telling my friend this, and he's like, you're fooled. He's going to lie to you, and he's going to tell you what you want to hear, and then it's going to go back to the same old, same old. And I didn't want to believe him, but I did. And then at the end of the shift, I told the team leader that took me back to the eye wash station that I quit. And she was like, hold on, let me go get manager B. And she called him, and he was doing the walk around with the main store manager at the time. And she was like, you need to come talk to Jordan now. He is leaving the company over the incident that happened. And he, I guess, told the other manager, like, hey, I gotta go. And he comes and talks to me. And I told him, I was like, we didn't file a report for my eye. I don't feel comfortable leaving without having that report done. And he's like, let's go do that right now. And it's like, thank you. So he went to the office, couldn't find the iPad to use, and we walked over to customer service, talked to some other coach, this one of the daytime coaches, and she went to go look to see about her iPad, and her iPad was dead too. So we didn't have any iPads, and I was like, yeah, I think this is my time to leave the company. I don't feel safe here. And he's like, I want you to stay. I want you at least to give 2 weeks notice, because it looks bad when you don't give 2 weeks notice. And like, he cares, he wants to make things right. So I'll come in on my next work day, and we're going to fill out this report. And I was like, I like that, but I still don't want to work here, because I can't work with the other manager, and I don't want to work in pets. I definitely don't want to work in chemicals. And I don't want to be like this special, I have all these restrictions employee. I don't plan on being there for a long time anyway, and they knew that. I just like, I don't like when managers play with employees and like lead them on to believe that they're going to get promoted so they can get them to do their work. I don't do that to, my the company I work for. I'm honest with them, and Walmart is not near the ballpark of what I need to, or what I expect in a salary. And when they talked to me about me getting promoted, I was like, I plan on leaving the country in January. I'm going to do some traveling. I'm in college, and it's a good opportunity. I'm doing something called Wolf. It's worldwide opportunities on organic farms. I go work on a farm for around 30 hours a week. They provide me a place to stay, and they're going to feed me. And then I'm going to have days off where I can do my college work or go see whatever country that I'm in. That's my plan. I wasn't going to lead them on saying I'm going to be a team leader. I just wasn't. And, you know, they knew that. So, like, me leaving 2 months early, I guess probably a big deal, especially during the holidays. But I don't feel safe. And we had a conversation for probably about an hour, and he convinced me to come back. I wouldn't work in pets. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, I was working in pets. And when we had our meeting, he was telling everyone that we're having big managers come by. There's a safety inspection that's going on. And if they fail, this is when coaches get fired and team leaders get replaced. And I knew that he was stressed over this. There were a lot of other people that were supposed to be off at that time that they were still staying, and they're cleaning out the warehouse. They're straightening up everything. It's a big deal to have higher ups coming in, and anyone who's worked in retail knows, what I'm talking about. So, I pushed through. I was working with someone else in the aisle. They were there basically the entire time. I let them do all of the bag food. I feel kind of bad sticking that guy with all that stuff, but I really didn't want to do it. And then the next day, I was in pets all alone. And not only was I in pets all alone, I think I had 8 pallets to do. And they typically say that a pallet takes an hour, although given some of my pallets were not full pallets, but they were like kitty litter and heavy stuff that, it's like 30 cases, but it's like 30 cases that weigh 35 to 40 pounds a piece. So I had a lot of freight to do that night. And I also was told that, he was told people don't know where the eye wash stations are. People didn't do a safety walk. He asked during the meeting, does people want to do this? Or he didn't ask if people wanted to do this. He asked, he told everyone that he's going to walk everyone around individually to all these safety points so everyone in the store knows where they're at on the shift. And I think it was about an hour and a half before I got off shift, I had 2 employees come. They went to the bathroom and they walked by me, and one of them joked with me, and they're like, pets is your new area, isn't it? And I was like, no, not for long. And I was like, I was the one who got injured last week. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that you got injured. And I explained the situation to them, and I was like, you didn't do the safety walk, or haven't you done the safety walk to find the eye wash stations? Like, it's related. And they're like, no, we didn't do a safety walk. I don't know where the eye wash stations are. I don't care where the eye wash stations are. And it just blew my mind. So I was like, I'm done with this company. So today, about 12 hours ago, I wanted to make sure that, manager A and manager B weren't at the store. Going in, turning my vest, tell them I quit, give them my doctor's bill, and say, hey, pay it. I go there to talk to HR. He was in an interview with someone, and I was kind of annoyed. And then I see this guy go, and I was like, I think he is like the assets protection manager. They're the ones that I report stuff to, so I can probably give him this doctor's note, and with the incident, we can get this covered. I'm done with this job. Walk away. And he didn't know anything about an eye incident that happened the week before. And I was like, you weren't told about like the water pressure being out in the building or anything, like when I went to go wash my eyes? Nothing. No. And the eye wash station that I was closest to that was broken, it was fixed by the time I got off work from my eye injury till the next time I came into work. So I figured that there was stuff done to kind of move that process along because of it, but I found out that nothing was done. And here, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm pretty upset over this whole thing, and I've probably been talking for like a half hour or better on this video. I feel like a complainer. I hate complaining, but when you get to a certain age, you don't have a lot of people to ask advice. I still talk to my mom, and my mom's like, report it to OSHA, and I probably will. I think this is a pretty this is a cover-up. They knew that there were problems, and then they didn't say anything. Like, this could be, I know that these big corporations are untouchable. Even two-time combat veteran Jordan, getting injured on the job, and it's gonna get blown under the rug because I still have my eyesight. It's not bad now. I got eye drops. It was probably like laundry detergent because it wasn't corrosive. And I'm fine, right? They don't need to report it, so no big deal, right? But it still bothers me. It bothers me how it was handled. It bothers me that there wasn't a report. And so yeah, I am going to be a complainer and be that person that reports it to OSHA. I don't know. But I'm kind of speechless at this point. I don't want to do YouTube. I don't want to update things and that sort of thing. But I also feel guilty that if you're still watching this video, you actually care about me. And I really appreciate you. And I feel bad that I'm not updating you with what I'm doing in my life and that sort of thing. I really enjoy going to the Phenomenal Families live streams and watching your guys' videos. I miss Love Talk. I've been out of the loop for a while. I'm doing college and going to work 40 hours a week. It's a lot for me, so it's hard to get time for that. Same thing with Gator's channel. I really enjoy trivia on Sundays, but I'm sleeping when you start, and then I wake up, get ready, and then leave for work, so I'm unable to see it. I do have it in the background when I'm doing some of my college work and listen to like your other stuff. I've been fortunate about catching Dora's live streams. I have been watching the 75 hard challenge. I think probably by the time that this video posts, it'll be day 75. So congratulations, because I'm really proud of you. And all my other friends, Luciana's Success, she's reached out to me, even though I haven't been in one of her videos, like talking in like the live stream in a long time, like basically since I've been working at Walmart. But she messaged me, see how I'm doing, talking, and like I really appreciate all the people. Everyone is just that was starting the YouTube channel, doing the vlogging challenge, meeting the source, Brandon, everyone that Jace Nomad, everyone that I found during that time has just been so great for me. I'm so blessed to have so many friends. I love catching up with all of you. I really hope that I can meet some of you, if not all of you, at some point in time in my life. I'm wanting to travel. I would, I'd love to take a sidetrack to go to meet you guys. I can't do YouTube. I am going to do this wolf thing. I'm going to go to as many countries as I can over the next 4 years while I finish an international leadership degree. It's a business type degree. I want to learn about permaculture. I want to learn about beekeeping. I want to learn about medicines and stuff that we can grow, how to cultivate. I want to be like this permaculture, green thumb master. It's going to take some work, and I'm going to get it with hands-on experience over the next couple of years. I should record it because then I can keep records. Oh, I'd crack myself up. And with doing that, then, I can be better at it in my personal life. So I may post a video from time to time about where I'm at, what I'm doing, and just know that it's probably going to be this long video, lots of rambling, jumping from topic to topic, because that's the kind of person I am. And I might add some pictures depending on how I'm feeling. I don't feel like editing this video. Yeah, sorry about that one. Hopefully the volume and the lighting's good. It's really early. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, but this is usually when I work. Yeah, that's my life in a nutshell in 2025. I'm ready for 2026. I'm going to Africa. I'm going to Uganda. That's the current plan. I was supposed to go to Kenya. The person asked me for money one too many times. I don't feel comfortable going there. I changed plans, and it's screwed up my timeline. But with me leaving my job, I'm going to be able to pack up and go. So that's the plan. I'm scared. It's going to be fun. I welcome any advice, especially Jason and Dora. Give it to me. Thank you guys. I love you all. And if I make another one, I'll see you in the next episode. I'll catch you in the comment section though. Have a good night. Or a good day, depending on when you watch it. Bye.